You have found Vagina Whispering, where we talk about everything from vaginas and orgasms to femininity, connection and love, intimacy, pleasure, intuition, menopause, and so much more. This is a safe place to have real conversations and make real connections. We're going to have a great time. We're going to laugh a lot, and we are going to fall in love with ourselves again. A quick note before we begin, the information we present here is educational in nature and is not medical or psychological advice, nor is it a substitute for seeking licensed healthcare services. Okay, let's drop you into the conversation.
I don't remember what your teeth looked like before, but they look like perfect little soldiers in a row now.
You getting messages?
No, I just realized I didn't ground and I should have.
Do you want to take a little time to ground? We talk people through what you're doing.
It's changed over the years, but now how it occurs to me to ground is asking how to ground for today and then going with whatever visual comes. It's usually opening and expanding the energy of each energy center or chakra and having that energy move up and down in my body. And I usually have my eyes closed so it's easier to visualize. And then wrapping myself in white light energy for support. Sometimes I send roots into the earth, but not very often anymore. I usually start with my root chakra, but yesterday I started with my crown and it felt totally different and it felt fucking amazing. And I also sat with each chakra. I was sitting with it before I intended or created it opening. So I could feel the energy in that area. It was really cool.
Alan's wrote a couple of books. She wrote books that changed the way you look at your chakras. One of the things she talks about is that we should not be starting at the ground. We should be starting first by connecting to our higher selves and our teams and our support system, and then saying, okay, now let's go back down to the roots and ground with our root chakra and go up. So a different take on it, and then she also talks about how anytime you make a decision, you open your third eye to get intuition, and then you go to your solar plexus to feel the gut. So you don't just follow the gut, but you say, okay, hold on, intuition. Am I truly feeling this? Is this mine? Where is this emotion and energy coming from? What do I really feel intuitively, not physically?
Wow.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I'm having to get used to you not having braces on. This is weird.
So good. We've talked a little bit about the depression and some of that heaviness. I wasn't smiling and laughing as much. I was sad, truthfully, and I was thinking about them all the time. Every single time I spoke, my teeth would rub against the braces, get caught on the braces, etc. So it's pretty amazing.
You did it for not cosmetic reasons.
They had to make some stuff. My teeth are a little bit more forward because I pulled them forward. They're more aligned with my face, more straight up and down in my face versus pulling in.
Gotcha.
I really like your teeth look lovely too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So I want to give a quick update. I messaged you that I had a horrible audition. Oh, really bad. The pianist started before I was ready. She didn't do what I wanted her to do. She started playing wrong notes. It threw me off and I was so nervous. And so I went back to my car and cried like a ball. And I was extremely emotional for the next 24 hours. And I realized a couple of things. One, typical 50-year-olds don't put themselves in a position to fail. We don't choose to make decisions that we could possibly fail. And I realized that it was heavy, and yet it was very honest. It was brutally honest. Yeah, you put yourself out there and you knew that you could fail. And you did. The second thing is I survived failure. I remembered things like, oh yeah, on my drive over, I remembered my 5 people and my dad, but I didn't sing to them. I didn't remember to bring them into the room because I was so nervous. I tried to ground. Oh my God, my heart was going crazy. I got a call from the director and she said, I was like, hi, Lauren. She's a friend of mine. I'm like, hi, that was a horrible audition. I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, everyone has that audition. I'm not saying it was horrible, by the way. She's like, but everyone has those auditions. She's like, you know how many shows I have gone to do an audition for and they just put me in ensemble. I don't get a part. I don't get a lead. I don't get any of that. It happens all the time, Joe. And I've been doing this for years. She went to drama school. She's great. Wow. And so I was like, yeah, okay. And I was expecting her to be like, we just want to let you know how much we appreciate you and whatever. And she said, are you willing to be in the ensemble? And I said, I would love to be in the ensemble to learn and watch and see how all of this works because I've never been in a musical. And then she said, and we are going to give you a part, not just ensemble, but you're not going to have a major song or anything. I was like, no problem. I didn't think I probably couldn't have handled a major song anyway. I didn't say that to her. She said, this is the part we're going to give you. And there's some lines and the funny little part. I was like, okay, thanks. She called me yesterday because I messaged her and said, I'm going to be gone in September. So I just want to let you know, or just make sure it's okay. I missed some rehearsals. She calls me and she says, yeah, that's absolutely okay. Thanks for letting us know. But we're considering you a part. You have a part in the show. You are a character in the show. Not main, right? I put that in quotes,
Right.
but she's like, you have a part. So you're going to be singing lines. You're going to be in the show, and almost every scene you will be in. So it's this full circle moment of doing the audition. I realize I probably couldn't have handled a role. Don't think I am at the level right now. I am not saying that I will be to handle that, to sing a full solo in front of 500 people. After 3 months of rehearsals, I might be able to, right? There's a difference when you're every 3 days a week, I'm singing in front of everybody. Okay, pull your pants up or whatever. But anyways, so that was the whole story I wanted to share with you. Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. And how would you not be nervous about that whole process? And how great that this is a friend of yours that she was like, yeah, everybody has that. And they factor in for that kind of thing. And the more they're sitting with it, the more you're growing on them.
And I've acted with all of them before. So
Okay.
they know that I can act. I walked in and said that. I had a cowboy hat on, my cowgirl boots, whatever. I was like, you guys, I put a costume on because I know I can act, but this whole singing thing. So when you realize knowing people makes a difference. And doing good work prior makes a difference, and putting a good effort in all the time, not just when you think it counts.
I love that.
I learned a lot.
I'm sure you've inspired anybody listening to swing out a bit more, but I wanted to share that you really inspired me.
I did.
You were talking about singing lessons, and I completely blanked that there were 3 or 4 singing workshops I participated in. A woman that I know had this workshop called Finding Your Voice, and it was weeks of prepping and exercises, and then they would have this little concert. And I did that right before COVID hit. I did it with my husband. I did it when I first moved to San Diego. Right when I got diagnosed with cancer, we were in it together because I remember I got a lot of support at that time. So I think I've taken it 4 times. And so last time we spoke, I started thinking, oh, damn, I would love to take singing lessons. My husband and I have talked about it before. We're not the couple that sings in the car. I'll belt it out if I'm alone and I'm in the mood, if I'm listening to just the right stuff. But anyway,
Yes.
I was thinking, oh God, I would love to do that. And 2 days later, a woman that I've known reached out because she wanted another mediumship session, and she offered a trade. She said painting. And I was like, wait a minute, she sings. And I was like, oh, how about for singing lessons? So that's what we're doing. So I got to say to her, thank you for answering the call for both of us, because I really wanted this. She's never taught anybody. And she was saying she's got gigs around San Diego, and I guess she's going to invite me. I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I was thinking I better start doing vocal exercises. I'm feeling reminded recently of doing things that challenge you, genuinely challenge you and make you uncomfortable. And you're certainly doing that with this. So thank you for pursuing this dream of yours and leaving this little breadcrumb trail for me to be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I really did forget about it.
You're like a master manifester. You're like, okay, I just thought about maybe taking lessons, and then boom, I did.
I don't think of myself that way. The universe does conspire for our good when the timing is right. So anyway, I'm pretty excited, kind of scared, but fuck it. Yeah.
What do we have to lose?
And I loved singing in that last workshop. I could actually get the sense of having a natural vibrato, and I had no idea about that. And I just want to enjoy it and feel comfortable doing it in front of Grant, whether he's singing or not, or joining along with other people. Anyway, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And it's maybe that's just what it is, figuring out that pursuing our dreams, no matter how hard it is, it is life affirming. I'm very nervous. And I contacted my voice coach and was like, hi, can we have a lesson on Thursday? Because I'm going to have to sing and I need to remember how to do this. And I'm not the type of person that can just belt something out. I just can't. I have not been that person in the past.
Yet. Yeah.
Even today, Teal was on her board saying, happy birthday, happy birthday. I'm like, what? Happy birthday. It's not your birthday. It's not mine. What's going on? And then I said, do you want me to sing happy birthday? And she's like, yeah. And so I sang, but I was like, okay, you can't just sing like this and expect your voice to be, you have to sing. You have to use your diaphragm and open your mouth and project. And so I'm saying happy birthday to her in the kitchen with full of my loud voice resonating all around. Singing in the car, a lot of you can do that, but I don't typically get Alex in the car and I'm like, you've like enough done. I don't want to hear that voice anymore. So there you have it.
That's one of the things that my sister and I used to share, is that we would both just sing loudly in the car. Nobody cared. Nobody judged. We were just enjoying ourselves. And she was one of the very few people I could ever do that with.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you had that memory with her. Yeah.
When I drive, there are times when I'll be listening to some good 80s and I turn it up. And there are times when I just can imagine her sitting right next to me. And I don't think she's singing, but she's doing something, dancing around a little bit in her seat or whatever it is. You're bringing up a really good subject about the idea of, the term came to me about failing up. Have you heard that before? Failing up?
No.
Setting yourself up to do something you're likely going to fail at, but it's moving you forward. If you kind of chickened out about that rehearsal or that
audition,
you would have gone nowhere. Like, the next time wouldn't have been any easier. It would have been even harder. There even was a next time. So.
Exactly. If you chicken out or don't do what your heart is pushing you to do, then it gets harder next time.
Yeah.
I told Pat, I don't think I'm going to do this. I just don't think I can do it. And he said, okay, don't do it. I'm like, God, he's not a very good inspirational coach. I'm like, oh my fucking God. Then I said, I would be extremely disappointed in myself if I didn't. It's exactly true what you're saying. You fail up because it does create another stepping stone. That's what I just saw. Failing up means it's okay. You still took that step up.
Yeah.
You stepped forward and you're not even on the same level playing field anymore. You're up higher. Regardless of if I'd gotten the part, I learned a lot. And that means I'm higher.
Now you're looking at it like, look, even if I'm in the ensemble, I'm going to learn a lot. I'm going to witness a lot. I'm going to see for next time. That's beautiful.
What else? Failing up. I like that. What are you going to fail at that? That's a great question.
I took a few chances recently. I reached out to some people. There's a mother-daughter team that have a podcast, and I've been following them for a long time. Did I share about this with you?
You said you were going to, but you hadn't.
I did. I reached out, and I wish I had said, look, it's not like I think you need my help at all. If you haven't heard that last episode or the episode where we talked about it, it's a mother-daughter team and they do mediumship and they have a big presence on social media. But I also just really, truly love the style of mediumship. And the mom is the main medium. And she does the kind of family dynamics, relationship dynamics, apologies, people owning their shit on the other side, reality checks, the kind of stuff that I get to do also with my mediumship. She gets it in great detail. I love listening to their readings.
What is it?
They're called the Sarlos, Sarlos.
Oh, Sarlos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're awesome. Oh, that's their last name.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming, but it makes sense to me.
Sarlos.
I figured they probably have a huge following and I have experience teaching. So what the fuck? So I did write and they wrote back a day or two later. I hope they didn't take it like I think they need my help in any kind of way. But basically they said they didn't need help and they'll keep me in mind. So, but you know what? I was proud of myself for doing it because the fear of looking bad in some way or the regret I have, oh, I wish I had given every disclaimer I could think of and whatever. But there's a few things that I've done. There's a couple of things that I've done like that, reaching out to people, even Anderson Cooper. Did I tell you that I reached out to Anderson Cooper?
No.
I was listening to a podcast and just to be with his sorrow over his mom's passing. It just kind of hurt my heart to hear his pain and feel what he might be going through. And so I reached out, hey, I don't know if there's something I can do to help you, but this is what I do. And please, it would be my honor to give you a reading or whatever it is, just to help. Like his immediate family, they're all gone. He's the only one left. But the pain in his voice. Yeah. So I hope he has found a sense of peace and comfort and maybe connection. It seems like he has a sense of his family's presence, but the pain is still so intense. I'd love to give a reading and help bridge that gap so he doesn't feel so cut off from people on the other side. Anyway, I wrote to him a couple of months ago, but I was proud of myself. I have nothing to lose. And if he takes me up on it, that'd be beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's interesting how it doesn't even have to be mediumship. So anyone who's listening that just is curious about spirituality or whatever, or sexuality, whispering could be the whispers that we hear in our heads that are mediumships. Anyways, you don't have to be a medium to know that there is life after death. You don't have to talk to other people on the other side to know and to feel comfort in death. They're the lucky ones. They're leaving the meat soup behind. I'm not ready to go. I don't want to die. And yet, the people that go to the next transition are the lucky ones. They're lying and doing loopy-dooply-dooply. I can just see people like, oh, I have no idea how freeing this is. Or, oh God, it's good to be back. I'm home. And that does make death easier. Will I be able to say the same thing when my mom passes? Oh, no, because I'm so close to my mom.
It doesn't take away from the grief when somebody leaves their body because it's not the same. At some point, you won't be able to hug your mom, look her in the eyes, feel her touch. She won't wrap little gifts in a particular way. Those things are worthy of grieving, even if you still feel somewhat of that connection. And then they drift off a bit because they have other things to do when they know that you're okay and settled. Every person that I've connected with that's on the other side, they're doing great. Sometimes they're happy. Sometimes they're just figuring things out, healing from their experience here. But nobody's, I miss being there or this side. They have a certain place of peace. I did a mediumship reading yesterday. And for the very first time, this was so cool to see this happen. So the woman who passed, she shows me a visual of her being in her hospital room and her body was shutting down. And she left her body, but she stayed in the room. Her kids had to make decisions and things happened. She was witnessing all of that. And I'm seeing her right now in her hospital gown with her little sakis on, standing there observing and trying to be supportive. There's no panic. She ends up passing. Her kids are with her body for quite a while, even after she passes, and then they leave. She stays with her body in the hospital room. And then it's like the corner of the room, almost like beckoning her. She's like, I don't know why, but I'm just feeling pulled this way. And I just start walking. That was so beautiful to hear what it was like for her. In my imagination, loved ones come to the room and they're like, all right, come on, here we go. But that wasn't her experience. She just knew which way to go. And then she went and then it was like, poof. And then suddenly she's like, oh, hi. And then she's in this reunion with people that loved her from this life. Yeah. I hope I never forget that.
Yeah. That's a really beautiful story. And with that realization, does that happen to other people? Do they step out of their body and just kind of watch? All right, how does this feel? Are you guys going to be all right making these decisions on your own? I'm here, but I'm not here anymore. Even though her body hadn't quite shut down yet. She wasn't in her body anymore. I would imagine, and maybe there's some peace there as well, especially when there's been a traumatic injury or a traumatic passing, that perhaps it is that ability to say, before it happens, I will be leaving. If you think about traumatic murders or rape or things like that, maybe there is that moment of, yep, I'm not in that body anymore. My team pulled me out before I had to experience any of it.
I've heard that about car accidents and things. I've heard mediums talk about people giving that message. I was out right before that happened, so they didn't have to experience the pain, which is lovely. And with this woman, whatever medical issue she had, each organ was starting to shut down. So there was no going backwards. So it was inevitable. I don't know how uncomfortable she was. She was likely quite drugged. with pain medicine so she wouldn't feel it. But
It's a real conversation you were able to have. And a reading for whomever you were doing the reading for, the sitter.
oh, I hope so.
That's nice.
Thanks for joining us. To access the interview on video, visit our Vagina Whispering channel on YouTube. If you have a topic you'd like to learn about, or if you have a specialist you'd like us to interview, please email us at vaginawhispering@gmail.com. And on a final note, while Noelle Dean is a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of California, she does not provide any psychotherapy or other licensed healthcare services as the host. Any action you take based on the information contained herein is strictly at your own risk. Please refer to the podcast disclaimer in the show notes for further information.